lighter weight, easier to carry, less bulk. What a dream it is, the SIG P228. It is the ideal concealed carry firearm, maybe even an officer's backup pistol. That's how it was touted by SIG when the P228 first came on scene. I had a good time poring over all their product literature. They used to come out with a magazine that was kind of a pseudo magazine and catalog that had all kinds of stories of departments that had adopted all their guns. I loved it. I ate it up. In the 80s on into the early 90s, I was a voracious consumer of all the things that SIG put out. Some of them I believed, including what they were saying about the P228, that it was a compact, much lighter version than the SIG P226 full size. And, you know, it's going to be easier to carry. Oh, just a dream. That's what SIG said. And it wasn't just SIG saying it. Sorry, guys, nothing fancy here, doing a philosophical gun carry discussion. We're going to pretend I'm working the gun counter at the store. You've come in and asked me about which size of gun will best suit you. You're going to probably be looking at my hands a lot. Again, sorry. But this is something that needs to be said. Not a lot of folks saying it, so I'm going to put out this philosophy vid maybe to guide your purchase decision. But back to what they're saying. The 228 was new on scene. It was special. Everyone was jumping on board, including the gun riders. It wasn't just SIG. And I think kind of a groupthink emerged. I call it groupthink, and that's my own term. It's when everybody kind of says the same thing in order to be cool. There's a certain way of looking at an item or a way of doing business, and because someone else wants to be cool and be perceived as being cool, they want to say the same things that that person over there said, that they know they've got kudos for their words. And so what it becomes is a self-evolving groupthink, and no one is willing to step back and say the emperor's got no clothes. Nothing fancy does it. I didn't always do it, but I kind of learned from experience that not everything the manufacturer will say is true. Not everything that you'll read in the gun magazines is true. Much of it is not. But that's kind of a different subject. On the P228, going back again a few years, I did carry it concealed because I was buying off on what SIG was saying. Very comfortable in carry, you know, very lightweight. And as the months ticked off, rolling into years ticked off of me, cycling this into my concealed carry protocol as a civilian at that time, it kind of dawned on me, this gun really isn't that lightweight. It really isn't that compact. And it's not that much shorter than the 226. And as I carried it month after month, it dawned on me, this is not really a compact gun. 28 ounces, granted it's 4 ounces, and I'm talking empty weights, lighter than the P226. That's substantial. 4 ounces is, the weight of a full-size tactical knife, generally speaking. But it's still bulky. It's not a thin gun to carry. It's as thick as a Glock. The whole form factor and the profile of the P228 is a little bit chunky. Is it compact? SIG tells you in their literature that it is. But I'm going to tell you, if you are a concealed carry permit holder or an officer that wants to use it as an off-duty pistol, and again, this is my opinion, you can do a lot better than what is termed by the manufacturer as a compact option. It's really not that compact. You would do a lot better with some other guns I'll show you. But before we move to there, let me show you another gun that by the manufacturer is called compact. How about the H&K USP 40? Compact. Okay, it's so compact they stamped it on their slide, right? So definitely it's got to be an easy gun to carry. Certainly this is going to be just a dream to carry as a concealed carry permit holder, right? Wrong. Dudes, fully loaded, the USP Compact is 36 ounces. 36 ounces. Remember, a 1911 aluminum frame empty, 32 ounces. So is that lightweight? Is that compact? Using my definitions and my way of looking at things, it is not. Because this is a hassle for me day in, day out to have on my side if I'm a concealed carry permit holder. I think about it. Okay? It bugs me. Now, let me say this. I understand there's different ways guys carry. There's different weights that are acceptable to different individuals. I understand that. I'm all about that. There's guys that will carry a full-size 1911 steel frame day in, day out. We've said as much. I know. But most people are not that way. And to say otherwise, I think, is disingenuous. It's artificial. Most people, when they're faced with a 36-ounce gun that's this bulky, see, that's not thin. They're going to start leaving it. They're not going to take it with them. And so when you come to my gun counter and say, hey, I'm looking at buying a USP compact, what do you think? Where I'm going to go is where I'm going right now. I'm going to say, what are you going to employ the gun as? What's your POU on the gun? If the guy comes back and says, well, it's primarily a home defense gun, I never will carry it concealed, then I'll say, I think your USP compact is a good choice. You know, granted, I have my own preferences. I don't like the safety and some other things about the gun. I've said as much in my review. But I'll tell you those. Those are my preferences, but I'll be objective on what the gun can do. It's generally very accurate, generally very reliable, as long as you keep it within that POU. Now, if he says occasional holster carry, I would still probably say, okay, that's fine. But if he mentions the word concealed carry, then he's going down a different POU, isn't he? Then he's saying, well, I want this to be, hidden on my person. I want to use it day in, day out. Again, I advocate high percentage of carry as a civilian. If you are a legally licensed civilian, CCW, CCP, or if you're an off-duty officer and it's elective for you to have your duty weapon or a backup weapon, carry it. Carry it all the time. High percentage. That way, the next time some tool like the Virginia Tech freak cuts loose, we have some good guys out there to save lives. Okay, that's what we advocate in the Nut and Fancy Project. Personal responsibility, mastering of dangerous things, service to your fellow human beings, being good. And sometimes you need a tool like this to do it. But back to the counter. The guy says, I want to conceal carry it. I'm like, well, I don't recommend it. There's Nut and Fancy, just giving you my data point from my many years of carrying concealed. Okay? And he would say, well, why not? Well, I'll say, well, it's not comfortable. Neither was a P228. Don't get me wrong, the P228 is an outstanding gun. I just say, as of 2009, there's so many other guns that are truly compact, truly lightweight, minimal in bulk, that will fill the concealed carry pistol role so much more effectively. Okay, and I'll talk about how this gun can function, but let's look at some other options previously reviewed in the Nut and Fancy Project. How about the outstanding ket-tec PF9? 17.6 ounces. Now that's empty. I said I was going to talk loaded. Sorry, that's an empty weight. Oh, you know what? No, that's loaded. I'm mistaken. I did weigh one. 17.6 ounces loaded, the ket-tec PF9. Look at how minimal or how much bulk you're carrying now. Let's bring back Mr. P228. And I'm sick. I don't want to pick on you, but this was just a in-roll discussion here. See the thickness difference? See the form difference? Look at the grips. Night and day, dudes. Night and day. So that user comes and he says, yeah, CCW primarily. Well, even if he doesn't say primary, if he says, yeah, I might carry it concealed, I'd probably steer him to something genuinely compact. Don't bite off on what the manufacturers terms their guns. Just because they stamp the slide with compact doesn't mean for you, in the role of concealed carry, it is compact. It probably isn't, and you're going to leave it in your gun safe and quit carrying it. I know, been there. Traveled down that road. And that's what we're talking about. PF9 is a much better option. Don't like it? SIG P238. Outstanding option. Super lightweight. 15 ounces. A little bit more loaded, of course. Look at the size difference. Yes, I know. It's 9mm versus 380. Totally know that. Look at that. Night and day. Which one do you want to carry day in, day out on your person? Like I predicted, this is going to be a favorite backup pistol for officers. I can pretty much guarantee it. It'll be an ankle gun for officers, probably civilians as well, because it is such a wonderfully small form factor. Lightweight, thin, compact, great build quality. I'm getting excited again over the P238. I need to calm down. Calm down. It's a great gun. Great option. ket-tec P3AT, previously reviewed in the Nut and Fancy Project by me, Nut and Fancy. What a great gun this is. I know, two different calibers, but in the role, especially as a civilian, concealed carry, I would recommend this over that, or over that USP as well. Night and day. It's night and day. tiny, tiny gun. Ket-tec P3AT, fully loaded, 11.8 ounces with 90 grain Hydroshock rounds. Amazing. This is a gun that you can live with day in, day out. That when, heaven forbid, that happens, you are armed. You can defend your life, that of your loved ones, maybe some good people next to you using excellent and mature judgment. We'll talk more about that in other videos. Great choice. Great choice. Previous reviewed, seems like a lifetime ago. How about this? Another truly compact gun. Now I'm going to quit picking on the 228 because I do love that gun. H&K USP, it's time for you to pay the piper. We're going to stack this gun up against USP compact. Okay? Ket-tec, I'm sorry, the Car Arms PM9 or PM40. I generally don't recommend the PM45 for reliability issues that I've found, but these two guns are excellent. Fully loaded, 18.8 ounces with Blazer aluminum cased 115 grain hollow points. Standard pressure. Adequate because I'm going to hit when I'm shooting at. I've carried this for a long time. You talk about a comfortable gun. Day in, day out, a gun you're going to have on you when you need it. Whether you're talking a belly band carriage method with an extra magazine, this is something that disappears under your shirt. No, it's not the fastest to access. It's slow to access. But guess what? I have my gun. Do you? Do you? That's what I ask. When someone strikes a pose like, well, I would never carry that. It's stupid. Well, really? Do you have your gun on you right now? No. Okay, then you can't talk, because I do. Okay, I have that. I have a PF9 on me. I have, a P38, P238. I am always armed, either with my duty gun or one of these. And I'm talking rule of law situations, ROL. So before someone gets high and mighty with you saying, well, that's not good, well, do a gun check on him. Say, dude, you got your gun now? Well, no, I didn't carry it today. Well, then you can't talk. Do you have your H&K USP Compact 40 on you today? And since you are a licensed concealed carry permit holder? No, I don't. I had a lot going on today. I couldn't go. Oh, okay, then you need to shut it. You need to shut your hole because you are not, qualified to talk. That's what we're talking about. If someone comes to the gun counter and says, hey man, I'm really looking for a concealed carry option, you've just seen some outstanding choices in front of the nutnfancy camera. P238, PM9, Ket-tec. I'm sorry, there's a PF9, PM9, I always get those confused. Ket-tec P3AT. These are comfortable guns. No, they're not hand cannons. They're not guns that I would want as my primary go-to war guns. But in the role of CCW, CCP, great options. Don't get fooled into thinking that this is a day in, day out concealed carry option for most people. For most people. It's hard to conceal too. That bulk is hard to conceal. The weight will bug you. Now, I said I would say, what role do these guns fill? I think they bridge or they fill an intermediate role. They are lighter than their full-size counterparts. Going back to the P228, 4 ounces lighter than a 226. 4 ounces is substantial. But in an intermediate role, I kind of think of them as a side carry, or I call them holster guns. So I'm going to use something like this. Here's a Serpa for a SIG P226. A holster gun for me is something where kind of a go-to-war option. It's an open carry option where it's going to be on my side. I need it quickly accessed. I want more firepower than perhaps these littler guns in the background would afford me. Okay, see how we're transitioning into a different POU? Go-to-war gun, I want a lot of rounds. I want a harder hitting caliber, generally speaking. Minimum of a 9mm. Maybe 40 would be better, maybe 45 better. Willing to take the extra bulk, to get that extra firepower, knockdown capability. Going back to the firepower versus mobility argument. And then I'd be willing to use a gun like this and carry it in a different system on my side, readily accessed, maybe visible to other people. 228 would function in that role very nicely with a little bit of less bulk. It also is a good holster, horizontal holster gun under a jacket. I did find that, get that out because it's actually a 226 holster. I did find in that holster, a side carry holster under a jacket, fully concealed, it's more comfortable. In the waistband, for me, nutnfancy, not so much. So, as you come into the gun store, as you go looking for your concealed carry options, keep this in mind. Compact isn't always compact. Compact is what you're looking at right now. And this should be your frame of reference if you are primarily concerned with carrying your gun on your person or arming up your girlfriend, your wife, another loved one, where weight, size, bulk, and concealability are very important to you. This is what you should be defining as and comparing them against guns like this. And there's other guns. This is just a smattering of examples. And also I would add before I end, if you want to employ a PM9 in the home defense role, you can do that, right? There's nothing to say that you couldn't put that in your lockbox next to your bed and have it function in that role. Maybe you would get the night-sighted version in that situation. You know, would other guns fill that role better? You bet. Probably one that has a rail on it where I could attach a light to illuminate the target. That would be good. But any one of these guns can fill that role. If you don't believe me, go read The Armed Citizen in the American Rifle magazine by the NRA. And there's hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands, of encounters by armed citizens using pistols just like this to defend their lives over the course of many, many years. There you have it. Compact versus really compact. Make sure you get that squared away before you spend your hard-earned money. Nut and Fancy. We'll see you. More vids coming your way when I get time.